Hey guys, I have a quick video for you. It's easier for me to do this and probably easier for you to get it than for me to type every one of these things and every one of your papers, blah, blah, blah. So, some things that I have come up with as common patterns of error for you guys from your first paper. So if these apply for you, find them, fix them. If they don't, ignore it, move on to the next one. First, you guys are using MLA style, Modern Language Association style. If you don't know what that looks like in terms of a paper, on the side column of your Blackboard where you can click for assignments or your syllabus or whatever, there should be a tab for the Purdue OWL, capital O, capital W, capital L site. That is about the best writing support site out there. It has been for years now. I was using it in grad school. So go there, look up MLA style, figure it out. Common things for MLA style, your header with your name, that sort of thing. A title. Every essay needs a title. Your title should give a clue of what we're going to read. It shouldn't be like a look at love, disaster, and whatever in the poem of such and such. It should be something that gives us a hint, something that intrigues us, kind of a hook that we want to jump into, not Kate Chopin's The Awakening. Not, I don't know, not nothing, not essay number one. So you need a title. You do not do abstracts in MLA style. No abstract. So skip those. Okay. Also for MLA style, you guys need a works cited page. Why? Well, because you should be citing things, because you should be quoting things, because that's specific evidence, and I'm pretty sure it was in the assignment for the essay. So you need to be using specific evidence from the text. You need to be citing it. You need to use proper citation, which the OWL site will show you for MLA, and I will show you in a minute too. And you also need to have a works cited page, which is a separate page, and it is titled Works Cited. So make sure you have that. Outside research, you shouldn't need for this paper. I probably didn't make it clear in your assignment, but when you're doing just a straight up literature paper, and not like a big dissertation or a big, graduate thesis or whatever, you will be focusing on a piece of literature or, maybe in your next paper, 2 or 3 pieces of literature. You don't need to go find out what so-and-so fancy scholar said about it. I want to know what you think about it. Part of what I'm looking at here is your thought process, your ability to look beyond just the words on the page to come up with a bigger significance and a bigger meaning. So, yeah, you don't need extra outside research. Okay, when we talk about literature, novels and plays go in italics or underline. It can be either one, not both. Underline basically was invented when we used typewriters because typewriters don't have an italics font. So underline means this goes in italics. So one of those happens for a novel or a play. Poems and short stories always go in quotation marks, the double quotes on either side. Next biggie, be certain. When you're writing these papers, I know this isn't a fact. I know it's what you think. I know it's what you believe. I know it's what it seems to be for you. However, if you're going to convince me, you need to be certain and you need to make a certain argument. So state your ideas like a fact. Edna finds herself in these ways. Not, I think Edna finds herself in these ways. Okay? Don't weaken your argument by making it uncertain and possible, okay? Your goal is to state it like it's a fact and then give me enough evidence and argument so that I'm going to believe it. Don't address your reader, which is me or anybody else reading your paper, directly as you. You will see, you should see, take notice of. You're not having a conversation with your reader. You're presenting me an argument, so I'm kind of not there, all right? So avoid all of that you and directing me to do stuff. Be sure you spell all the names in your papers correctly. That includes my name, if you put my name in your header. That includes, if you're talking about characters from The Awakening, the accents. For example, Léonce has an accent, I think it's accent aigu, over the first E. You can do those with, inserting special symbols in your paper. So do that, please. Double check to make sure you're spelling things right and you're using the right names. That's a simple thing that you guys should be able to do in proofreading. Each of these papers should have an introduction paragraph. An introduction paragraph, in general, you can do it a lot of different ways, but in general, pretty good formula to follow, especially if, paper writing is not like your favorite thing and you don't want to get funky and artsy with it. It gives some background information on the time, on the idea, on the particular piece of literature. It doesn't have to be a lot, could be a sentence. Often it gives a brief summary that leads us into the context that you're going to be talking about. So if you're going to be talking about Edna's journey to find herself in the awakening, your little summary is going to kind of pull out those parts of the book and talk and sort of hit briefly on those ideas in the book. Not so much, for example, ideas of being a mother. That would be what you would pull out if you were looking at the role of motherhood in the awakening. And then generally your introductory paragraph is going to end with a thesis statement. A thesis statement is just that, a statement, not a question. It is one sentence. It is specific, not vague, like love is an important idea throughout the world for centuries. That's not a thesis statement. It has to be specific to your text. It has to be specific to your paper. It is your roadmap. It shows your reader and you as you're writing what it is that you're going to be proving in that essay. So don't ever skip your thesis. And a number of you guys, I said, yeah, your thesis is too vague or whatever. Take another look at that. If you're struggling, I said this when I sent your papers back, but if you're struggling or you're not sure about these things or you just want another set of eyes, which is always a great idea, please feel free to use the Writing Center. It's a good resource. It is helpful. I used the Writing Center at my college when I was an undergraduate. And then I worked there after I graduated. It's a good place to go just to get another set of eyes. And these are trained tutors, people who've taken these classes, who've done well in them, etc. Along the same lines as be certain and don't use the I think, I feel, just keep yourself out of it. No, I was surprised by, or I was excited to see. This is not your personal journey as a reader. This is an argument that you're making for us about what bigger ideas are happening in this piece of literature than just what's on the page. So don't make this your sort of reading response personal journey. This should be an argument. This should be you proving your thesis. Cite all of your quotes. There's different ways to do that, and for poems, as I think I've mentioned before, we cite by the line. Again, the Purdue OWL site will show you that, but you cite every single thing you quote. Otherwise, technically, it's plagiarism, which I know you don't want to do. We always write about literature in the present tense. So we say Chopin illuminates this idea. We say Edna walks into the sea. We say the speaker in those winter Sundays hears his father. It's always in the present tense. I don't really know why. It's just a convention of writing about literature, but I like to remember it as literature always exists. It's always happening right now. If you pick up that poem today and you pick it up again in 5 years, it's still doing the same thing at that exact moment. So it's always in the present tense. Excuse me, I have allergies terribly. Okay, now I'm going to hold up a piece of paper after I write it out. Citations. The actual in-text citations, the part that goes in parentheses at the end of your sentence. I don't know who teaches this wrong, but somebody does, because we all get the wrong idea. Okay? So the parenthetical citation is what it's called. It goes at the end of your sentence in which you've quoted. Oh, God, you're not going to be able to see this because it's backwards. All right, now I'm going to try to write it the right way. Anyway, there's always a word, that you end, and you end your quote, and then you start your parentheses, okay? And your parentheses are going to start before your period, and I hope I'm doing this right. This is hard. Okay, so let me hold this up and see if it makes sense now. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so you've got here, pretend this is a word. This is the last word of your quote or whatever. And sometimes your quote's in the middle of a sentence, whatever. It's the last word of your sentence. If it's the last word of your quote, then you have your quote marks. Notice there is no punctuation here. You start your parentheses. You put your author's last name. You put a space. You put the page number. You close your parentheses. Then the period. Okay? This is really important. There are no commas. There is no P period. It is what it is. If you have already quoted that author previously in that paragraph, then you don't need this. Just put the page number, no P period, just the number in the parentheses. If you are citing poetry, and it is line 7, for example, and you have already mentioned the poet's name anywhere in your paper, I don't know if you guys can see this, okay? You're just going to finish your quote, do the quote mark, the parentheses, the line number, close your parentheses, and put your period. Sorry, I know it's infantile to hold it up and show you like that, but it's so much easier than saying it all out. Okay, you should never end a paragraph with a quote. Your quotes are your evidence for us, but you can't just show me the evidence, here, these are envelopes, and expect me to figure out what to do with it. When you show me the evidence, you have to tell me what it means. You have to tell me what I'm supposed to think about that, how it supports your thesis, and why it's there. So don't end your paragraphs with quotes and think that I can just take that and say, oh, I see, the envelopes, they have a bigger meaning. Explain to me what the quote means. All right, on a lot of your papers, I have made a comment like, why does this matter? Sometimes I say, so what? Sometimes I say, why should I care? This is not me saying your paper sucks, why should I care? This is me saying, if you're going to prove something to me, it needs to have a bigger meaning. Okay, so Edna's not happy. I get that. Why should I care? You need to show me what the bigger significance is, okay? Let's see. Oh, word choice. You guys need to be specific. That's specific in your evidence and your references to the text, but that's also specific in your word choice and your diction. So don't use words that don't mean anything, like things. These are some things. Or everything. Edna feels everything strongly. Or it. We see this in it. In a box. In a car. In the poem. In the chapter. We need to be specific about these things because I can't follow your argument if I don't understand what pieces of evidence you're using and to what you are referring. I think right off the top of my head, that's pretty much all of it. You should have your papers back. If my comments seem terse, it's not that I hate you or that I hate your paper. It's just commenting on that many things and that many papers gets sometimes to the point where I just use the briefest words and the shortest route to say what I'm saying. And I've had people in the past say, but you were mean. I'm not trying to be mean, I promise. If you have questions about anything I put on your paper that I didn't bring up here, or if you're not understanding stuff you're finding on the OWL site, or if you're not sure if this applies to your paper, please email me, let me know, and we'll talk soon. Thanks. Take care. Bye.